Hello everyone, today I'm going to be doing another single hooping stuffy. This is Sammy the Sloth and it is all done in one hoop. Like I said, Kelly does have another Sloth Stuffie that has the limbs in another hooping, so they make bigger ones, but if you are just beginning or if you just want a quick and easy project, this is the one for you. So I'm using, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, a shag minky maybe, and another luxe minky for the belly. When using fur with a pile, you're gonna need your water soluble stabilizer. So I've gone ahead and loaded the design into the machine, and we're gonna go ahead and stitch step 1 directly on our heavy tearaway is what I'm using, and our fabric with a layer of water soluble stabilizer on the top. So I stitched step 1 onto my fabric and my stabilizer and my water soluble stabilizer, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch step 2, which is going to be the placement step to show us where to put our belly applique. So we've stitched step 2, which will show us where to put our applique. I am using this pretty luxe minky, and so I'm going to use another layer of water soluble stabilizer to keep my foot from getting all attached to the fur pile. So I've gone ahead and stitched that tack down, which goes around twice to secure that fabric so we can trim. Now when trimming minky with a pile, it can be messy and it can be difficult to get all of the fur trimmed. So what I like to do, and I found this works the best because I just am addicted to the fuzz, is lifting your fabric up so it's at a 90-degree angle to what you're cutting and the hoop, and using my double curved scissors to trim, and that just gets all that pile out of the way so you have a nice clean cut. So I've stitched the step 4 placement for the face. I'm using the same fabric. You can definitely mix it up. A lot of times I'll use a pretty print for the belly, but in this case they wanted the minky, so I'm going to use water soluble stabilizer on top, and I will stitch the tack down of the face. I finished the tack down of the face. I'm going to trim again, pulling my fur at a 90-degree angle and cutting with my double angle to get the cleanest cut away from that fur that I can. So we trimmed the appliques. It doesn't have to be exactly perfect, especially if you're using fur. It hides all manner of sins. And because I have those little fur pile on the edges, I'm going to use a water soluble on top of my satin stitch as well, just to make sure that those don't peek up through the satin stitches. So step 6 is the eyeshadow that is on the sloth's face, and then 7 and 8 are going to be the satin stitch. I'm matching to my eyeshadow color as well as my main fur color for both of those steps. So here is the satin stitch finished off. It's not a traditional satin stitch. If you can see there, it's got a textural look to it. It's just as secure as a satin stitch and has the same underlay, but it just gives you a really pretty finish, like they're melding into each other like real fur would. So if you wanted to add a personalization to the belly, you can do so anytime after this step and before you add the backing. I am not personalizing this one, but I'm going to go ahead and stitch steps 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. 9 is your optional eyelashes step, so if you don't want the eyelashes, you can just skip it. Then 10 is going to be the black of the eye, 11 is going to be the nose, and 12 is going to be our eye color, 13 is going to be our white eye sparkle. So all the detail stitches are done, and if you want to personalize, make sure you do it before the next step. And the final step is going to be adding our backing. So I'm just matching my front, and you can put your backing down with right sides together and stitch the final outline. This particular fur has like a fuzz on the back of it. So I suggest, if you're new, I would put water soluble over it. I'm just gonna babysit it and keep an eye on it, and if it gets caught up, I will just stop my machine and get the foot there, because I don't want to waste a full sheet of water soluble, but that's your choice there. Just keep an eye on it if it has a furry back. So we have the backing stitched down. I'm going to take it and cut it out. You don't want to leave too much of a seam allowance around those little parts so you can really release them. And I'm also going to cut perpendicularly into the curves to make sure that they turn really well. I got him cut out, and I've given not too much of a seam allowance. I've also trimmed in perpendicularly. Careful not to cut your outline stitches, just to free up those limbs, so it'll make them turn really well. I'm gonna get them turned around and stuffed, and it'll be all finished. So we got this little cutie pie all turned and stuffed and closed with a ladder stitch on the side, and she is just as cute as can be. So it's a quick and easy project, great for beginners. This is the single hooping Sammy the Sloth. So if you have any questions, please feel free to let us know. And if you have any requests for future tutorials or future stuffy requests, we have a list, so you can let us know, and Kelly will definitely try to make all the requests possible.